I wrote things, yes, books and stories, and they were published, but never when I was filling in a form, passports or otherwise, and came to the line with occupation. It would never have occurred to me to fill it in with anything but the time-honored married woman. Married woman was a profession in itself, and it was my profession. That was my status, that was my occupation. As a sideline, I wrote books. I must have been, I think, singularly unambitious at all times. I don't think I ever approached writing with the same exuberance and enthusiasm that I would have embarked on a career as a singer. But even then, I do not think I should have yearned for more than a reasonable success, to be good at what I was doing, to be able to sing certain roles. I had never been able to see myself as the top of any career. "You write so well, Agatha, dear," my mother-in-law used to say to me. "Surely you ought to write something serious, something worthwhile," was what she meant. I would find it very difficult to explain to her, and indeed did not really try. But I was eminently a writer for entertainment.
My grandmother wrote the autobiography. It took her quite some time. It was almost a hobby for her, actually, in the 1960s. And as far as I know, she wrote the whole thing on audio tape, or one of those things with spools that you don't see any longer now. And it is a fascinating record, social history record of what happened in the 1890s and early 20th century, and something which I think could be read with that in mind, even if Agatha Christie hadn't been the famous person she became. And then, of course, it moves on through the various parts of her life, writing her first book and inventing Miss Marple.
I would not say that Miss Marple was in any way a picture of my grandmother. She was far more fussy and spinsterish than my grandmother was. I just had the idea, possibly it was for a series of 6 short stories for one special magazine, and I chose the people whom I thought would be suitable. An old spinster lady living in a village, the sort of old lady who would have been rather like some of my grandmother's cronies. People a little like the people I had met in the hotel at Skye. Old ladies like I had seen in the private hotel in South Kensington, and old ladies that I had met in so many villages when I had gone to stay. But she had this in common with my grandmother, that although a completely cheerful person, she always expected the worst of anyone and everything, and was with almost frightening accuracy usually proved right.
And the first Poirot, and how several publishers refused it, and eventually she found one who accepted it.
People never stop writing to me nowadays to suggest that Miss Marple and Hercule Poirot should meet. But why should they meet? I'm sure they would not like meeting at all. Hercule Poirot, the complete egoist, would not like being taught his business or having suggestions made to him by an elderly spinster lady. Hercule Poirot, a professional sleuth, would not be at home at all in Miss Marple's world. No, they are both stars, and they are stars in their own right. I shall not let them meet, unless I feel a very sudden and unexpected urge to do so.
I always think of her as a listener, so she sat there and listened, and whoever it was, whether it was her family or other writers or whoever, and I think the autobiography is a great record of that, because she heard everything, she saw everything, and she was very good at writing it down.